Falklands War, so it is entirely appropriate that he is flying the Vulcan here for us today. I call the Vulcan the people's aeroplane, and the people's aeroplane it is, because millions of people, and I do mean millions of people, all over the country put their hands in their pockets to donate money to this aeroplane. It's cost over £7 million to put it back in the air in terms of hard cash, and a lot more if you counted the time of all the engineers and all the volunteers who've been working on this incredible machine to get her flying again. So XH558, it was the last flying Vulcan. It was the aircraft used by the Vulcan display flight, so it's the last flying Vulcan in RAF service, and she's here for you today. Probably one of the most astounding pieces of British engineering, ladies and gentlemen. I'm very proud to say the Avro Vulcan. Martin Withers, of course, being very calm and gentle. 4 of them powering the Vulcan. And this represents very much a tribute to all the Cold War aircrews. No matter what country they're from, Cold War's over now. But all those people who sat in quick reaction alert sheds waiting for that horrible klaxon to go off year after year after year to form the British nuclear deterrent, this aeroplane is very much a memorial to all those unsung aircrew who thankfully never actually saw operational action. You know, I live for that sound. Putting a little more horsepower into it there. Wonderful roar from those engines. Vulcan, of course, originally designed as one of the 3 V-bombers to form part of Britain's nuclear deterrent. Originally designed, would you believe, in 1947. Yet still an amazingly futuristic looking aeroplane. Bombay's coming open. It's going to do a big 360-degree circle for us here. You can see that cavernous Bombay. I mean, Bombay alone is about the size of a house. You could get 21 1,000-pounders, twice the operational load of a Lancaster inside that Bombay. Or you can get the freefall nuclear bomb known as Yellow Sun. If it was on a freefall nuclear mission, a goodly number of the Vulcans were modified to take the enormous Blue Steel standoff missile, which is a nuclear weapon capable of a range of 100 miles, a bit like a cruise missile, if you like, an early cruise missile, the Blue Steel. The Vulcan, of course, could drop its weapon 100 miles away from its target, and the missile would fly itself to its target, obviously a lot safer for the aircrew, but fortunately, as I said, for all of us, never ever used in anger. Perhaps simply because these aeroplanes existed. away from us on the 45-degree line and then go to full power for a full up wing over. You know who designed this aeroplane? It was the same man who designed the immortal Lancaster, Roy Chadwick. Another great British engineer. We have had some amazing engineers in this country. It's such a fantastic career because you can end up working on things like this. But as I said, thankfully the British nuclear deterrent never had to be used, the V-Force. They were retired from the nuclear deterrent role, replaced by the Royal Navy's Polaris submarines. They were then used as strategic reconnaissance aircraft. And would you believe as tanker aircraft, this aircraft itself was modified for the tanker role. After the Falklands War, it must be said. Just an enormous, but somehow incredibly graceful aeroplane. We're coming in towards us to perform a spiral climb in the crowd centre. You can see the original nuclear deterrent aircraft were painted all white all over to protect them against the flash of a nuclear detonation. But in the strategic reconnaissance role, they took on the grey-green camouflage. And indeed, for the Falklands War, they were painted grey-green all over. You can see this is camouflage top and bottom. Going to tell the story of the Vulcan, aside from the millions of people, private citizens all over the country who put their hands in their pockets to get this aeroplane flying again. That's how popular it is. You've got to mention one man, and that's Dr. Bob. He hates it when I call him that, because it reminds everybody of the Muppet. But Dr. Robert Fleming, who's the head of the Vulcan to the Sky project, I'll tell you something, it's dedication, pure dedication of all the engineers, all the people who worked on this aeroplane. They've got it flying again. It's the dedication of the British public. It is the people's aeroplane, behind that aeroplane. But I'll tell you something about Dr. Bob, yeah? Beg your pardon. Dr. Bob had just had life-saving surgery on his neck and was still wearing a neck brace. The man was in agony. And he was at the Farnborough Airshow to support the Vulcan, to talk to the major companies that were at the Farnborough Airshow, just to make sure he got their support for this aeroplane. Every step he took hurt him. And you could see him, he was white as a sheet and he was sweating like a horse. So ladies and gentlemen, please, a round of applause for the Vulcan, but also a round of applause for Bob Fleming.